Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sandra. I talk about all things books, writing, daily life, daily vlog as a creative person. So today I'm going to do something different. I'm going to go to my summer TBR list. I know we have about a month and a half left of summer. Actually, it's more like 2 months. So I do think that I can accomplish that, although I do really feel like I'm in a fall mood. So I'm not too sure how accurate this book list is going to be, but let's say these are the books that I want to read for sure in the next month and a half before it's really officially September time. As most of you know, I'm working my way through a lot of French Riviera books, so I'm going to be showing the ones that I have left for this year, and then I'm also going to be showing summer romance books that I'm currently reading and that I want to read that are going to inspire my writing and help me move through my writing and help me take breaks from my writing when I'm going to start writing the French Riviera book, and maybe some other books that I'm also currently interested in and currently reading. So I am so into like vampires at the moment, so I might be including some vampire books as well in this video. So without further ado, let's get started. I'm going to show you by holding up my camera towards these books because it's gonna be too much work for me to bring them from the other room, come here, sit down, talk about them. So I want to make an effective and quicker video. So we're just gonna browse my shelves, and I think a lot of you really want to watch a video of me going to my shelves and kind of doing like a book tour, a library tour, but I have almost 5,000 books. That's a lot of work. So that's something I'm going to have to work on gradually and fix my shelves before filming that. And it's going to be a few parts. But yeah, I know that someone put in a request for that. So I might start filming that. But it's going to take some time. So bear with me, please. And I also end up shifting around things on my shelves all the time, depending on what I'm reading and what I'm working on next. So I might have to do a library tour more often because there are books upon books and books hidden by books. Something that I'm looking forward to do. Not, but no, it's fun. It's a fun thing to do. I love watching library tours and people touring their books and their bookshelves. It really gives you book recommendations, and it really shows if you are aligned with the person that you're watching. So I really like watching those, and I really like finding new books through watching those. So I'm going to film it, just not right now. I feel like filming this video is inviting a lot of judgment because there are books literally everywhere. So anyways, this is my stack of books that I just hauled, so let's ignore that. And these are my romance books that I'm currently working through. I'm almost done with this book, 7 Days in June by Tia Williams. Love it. I started this book last fall because this book was released last fall, and I was getting through it, but then I stopped because that's usually what happens with me. So I have an audiobook loan for this book, so I'm going to read this one, and then I'm going to read this one, and then I'm going to read this one. So this one is a book set in the south of France as well. It's a new book, and I really want to read this one actually after I read the other South of France books that I'm going to show next. So it's called A Perfect Vintage by Chelsea Fagan, and it's very much, old money, rich people doing shit in the south of France, and I think there is a romance at play. This older woman falls in love with a younger man, so yeah, I think this is going to be fascinating to read. Then I also got this book this year, and I got it because I need books that have to do with romance and in the summertime, but also that have to do with grief. So this one is the one. So The Summer of Broken Rules by K.L. Walter. Basically, we follow this girl, and I think she loses her sister, and from that, I'm just going to show you this here so you can also pause and read. But yeah, so when Meredith Fox lost her sister Claire 18 months ago, she shut everyone out, but this summer she's determined to join the world again. And yeah, so basically that's the premise, and then she falls in love, I think, and that's why I want to read this one. This one is friendly competition. So it's a book about an author duo, and then it's called The Roughest Draft, and I believe something happens between them, and so they're not communicating, but they have a contract and they have to write together. Again, I will leave this here so you can pause and read. But the funny thing is that the couple, Emily and Austin, they're actually married in real life, and they co-author books. So I think it's like very meta in some ways, and I think it's gonna be fun to read also in the summertime. So this is my summer TBR summer stack books that I'm currently reading and working through, and I'm gonna film a video of just the summer books that I'm reading. And yeah, we have the blue and the pink, and then we have this book. This book is like one of my all-time favorite books, honestly. I'm going to be talking more in upcoming videos, but oh my god, it's so good. Alright, let's move to these two stacks right here. These are my stacks of like, oh, I want to read them, but I have no time to read them, so I'm not sure if I'm going to read them or when I'm going to read them. So, first thing, we have art. This is an art book. I am reading this like, you know, as I do research for my French Riviera book. Someone is cutting their grass right now, and this always ends up happening when I'm filming, and it's like, how much grass do you have to cut? Why is someone always cutting grass in the middle of the day? Like, it's a work week. Let me close my window and suffer the heat for you guys. Alright, where were we? Okay, so, yes, so I'm currently reading that. I'm reading The Secret. Yes, unironically. Oh my god, English language is so complicated sometimes. And then I'm reading Good Vibes, Good Life, and I'm reading also Ask and It Is Given, and The Psychology of Money, and then Wherever You Go, There You Are. So those are the 4 or 5 self-help manifestation type books that I'm currently reading. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't touch these books in like a month now, and I do want to go back to them, but I like need to do more French Riviera stuff before I go back into other type of books. Then there are these books that I want to read, so I'm not going to read them in the summertime. I'm going to read them whenever I have time. So we have Her Body and Other Parties, The Body Keeps the Score, and then Madison Beer's memoir, The Half of It, and The Lightness by Emily Temple. This one, Madison Beer's memoir, I'm probably going to read it because I want to do a reading vlog on female celebrities and their memoirs, and talk about what I've learned from them. And like, I feel like a lot of them talk about bodies and how they're perceived in the media versus their male counterparts, so I feel like that would be an interesting video to make. I'm going to show you the bottom half here. These are books that I'm going to read eventually, but like I said, I'm not really setting my mind or my heart on them for the summer. Initially, they were supposed to be read by the summer or in the summertime, but right now I just have too much going on at the same time. Then we have The Historian by Elizabeth Kostova, and this is like about Vlad the Impaler. I have started reading this, but it's so long. I've literally borrowed the audiobook and placed it back on hold like at least 10 times already, so it's kind of unfortunate, but I will read it the next time the audiobook comes in. I hope it's not soon though, because it's like 650 pages and it really reads like a history book, which can be fun, but it also can be taxing. Then we have Braiding Sweetgrass by something Kimmerer. Hold on. By Robin Kimmerer, and I love this book. I had to renew my audiobook, so I'm kind of waiting back for that. And I don't want to binge read it. I want to read like a few passages every day because it's just so beautiful and so insightful. So I do want to finish this in the summertime. Then we have Every Summer After and Meet Me at the Lake by Carly Fortune. The fact is, I want to read those other romance books that I showed you guys, so I'm not sure if I'm going to get to these 2 books this summer, but they're here just in case I do. And then we have 3 books that I'm currently reading. We have Oana Out of Order. I'm finishing this week. I have the audiobook. I'm almost done with it. And we also have The Idiot by Elif Batuman, and I'm also almost done with that. So there are going to be reviews coming as I finish them. Then we have Veils and Words. This is the emerging voices of Iranian women writers. Now, depending on my friend, if she has the time, we are going to film a video on this book because we've been buddy reading it, and we're gonna sit down at some point and film because we're both Iranian and a lot of things have been happening in the last year and a half in Iran. So we thought that we would spread awareness, and yeah, I'm like halfway through it. I still have to finish it, and I've been taking a lot of notes, so That's why it's taking me some time. Then I have a book that I've been reading, 2 books that I've been reading actually. One that I've been reading more recently and one that I've been reading since last year. So as some of you know, I have been overcoming a binge eating disorder. So we have this book called Brain Over Binge. I do recommend it. It's really helpful. And I also have The Pleasure Trap, that's also about like addiction to food, addiction to all these type of things, which was also very helpful. Back in April, I did like this 20-day water fast. I don't recommend it. I'm not promoting water fasting, but it did help me personally. And I was reading this book and it was really insightful. Okay, so now we have more books that I'm currently reading. Everything I Know About Love by Dolly Alderton. I'm like halfway through. Attached, I'm also halfway through. And then White Rage, I'm also like a quarter way through. If I get through these books, I get through them. If not, not. It's just the way the cookie crumbles at this point. Then we have 5 books that I did not start, so they're just like anticipated reads, and it's Happy Hour, Our Lives Under the Sea, Milk Fed, Sorrow and Bliss, and Cleopatra and Frankenstein. These are all like literary 20s, don't know what's happening in your life, except for Our Lives Under the Sea. It's because it's like a queer story of like trauma and horror and that. Anyways, yeah. I was gonna read these 5 books for a secret video. I won't spoil it, but whenever I get the chance to read them, you'll see them all in one video. I just don't have the time right now to do that video. And then we have some vampire books. We have Woman Eating, Carmilla, and Vampires Never Get Old. So these 3 books, I am going to read them whenever I read The Historian probably, and I'm going to make a vampire related vlog because yeah, the next book that I'm writing after Riviera is a vampire book, so spoiler alert. Now we're gonna make it up to my messy desk. Alright, so first thing, I have this book that I'm reading like a passage a day, Light the Dark, Writers on Creativity, Inspiration, and the Artistic Process. So just taking my time going through this, gathering information, getting inspiration daily. So yeah, might finish it by the end of the summer, might not, depends how many more passages I have. This book started last year. I need to finish it this year, and it's set in the French Riviera, and it's Tender as a Night by S. Fitzgerald. It's a classic. I really do enjoy it, but I need to set my focus and time on it, and yeah, I want to finish this one. Also have Chanel's Riviera. Again, started it last year. This one's a dragging read, to be honest. I'm not a fashion person, but it is fascinating, and Chanel did have a lot of connection and to the Riviera and artists and writers from the Riviera, and it's like set in the like post-World War era. So it says here, glamour, decadence, and survival in peace and war, 1930-1944. Okay, so I lied. It's actually during the World War eras. I have to go back into it because I've literally just dumped those information out of my brain. So I have to go back to my notes, have to go back to my highlights, and I have to go back to reading this at some point. I'm not really pressed about reading this one because it's not really serving me as much as I thought it would. This one I already read last year. As you guys know, I'm just going to my notes and annotations, writing them on a Google Docs file so I can basically get back to writing my book. So we have this stack here, and again, these are like hopeful reads. The first 2 I am currently reading, A Gentle Reminder by Bianca Sparacino, and then The Creative Act by Rick Rubin. These 2 books are inspiring the project that I'm currently writing. It's something that I self-published before Riviera, so that I am working on this week. Then I have Yellow Face by R.F. Kuang. I did read the first chapter, fall in love with it, love it so much, but I need to read some of the other romance books before going back to this book. Another book that I really want to read because it was one of my most anticipated read of the summer was Old Enough by Haley Jacobson. But again, like I said, I have priority reads, so if I get to it, good. If I don't, well, it is what it is. The same thing with A Briefly, A Delicious Life by Neil Stevens. And the reason why I want to read this one is because it has to do with like a French author, and also has to do, I think, a little bit with the south of France. I might be wrong, but the story sounds really compelling and really in line with what I'm writing, so I might read it. We're gonna skip these books here because these are just like poetry books that I may or may not read, but I'm not planning to read them. I'm gonna go to the last of the Riviera stuff. So I have Riviera stories. That one I want to read. It's just about stories set in the Riviera. I think it's nonfiction, but it could be fiction. I've been reading this for so long. The Letters of Vincent van Gogh. May or may not finish it. And then I halted this one, which is Life with Picasso, because again, like, I've been reading so many art books and so many history books, and I just am so pooped out I cannot do it anymore. So I'm just gonna take a break, maybe read them next year, because... Is this a spoiler? Should I even say this? Okay, I wanted to just have a standalone French Riviera book, but I have so much knowledge in the French Riviera, and I have so many characters in the first book that I might continue the series, and it might not be like a series, but like more like a companion series type book. So I still have work to do for the next few years anyways. But these 3 books, I would love to read them because they're all like really set in the French Riviera and they're classics. So the first book we have is La Naissance du Jour by Colette. I want to read this one. I want to read it out loud and on my channel because I have not read French. I have not engaged with French in so long that I need to practice my French, and this is like one of the top recommended books set in the Riviera. Then we have Anita Bruckner's The Bay of Angels. The Bay of Angels is the walkway in Nice, so it's an actual place. The Bay of Angels is an actual walkway, so I do like the fact that they use that as a title, and also set in the French Riviera. Same thing. The Pleasing Hour by Lily King. I'm a bit confused. It's kind of set everywhere in Europe, but it has a segment in the French Riviera, so I may or may not read this summer. And my cat disturbing everything as always. Are we surprised? No, we're not, but at least we finished with that stack, because who knows what he's about to do now. Nope, no sitting on me. No. So I literally went downstairs to get one book and I forgot it. Why? Anyways, I'm not gonna go back downstairs to get the one book, but it's called One Last Stop by Casey McQuiston. English language! Contort yourself, mouthpiece to do the right sounds. Casey McQuiston. My brain is too quick for my mouth. Casey McQuiston. We're gonna go with that. I'm gonna attach the image here. You see it? It's a beautiful cover. I love the colors. Yes. So I'm reading that. I'm halfway through because I have it on audiobook. I'm actually gonna finish that one today because I'm really bad with audiobooks. Like, I literally cannot read the book until it's the very last day. Tell me you're autistic and tell me you have ADHD without telling me you're autistic and having ADHD. But yeah, so the last of the last books that I'm going to be reading, and most of these are actually audiobooks hold that I need to read this week before I lose all those holds. So this is the stack, but before that I'm still reading In Montmartre by Suro. Am I even halfway through yet? No, almost halfway through. It's like fascinating, but it's boring. Like, it's too much. And there's this guy, and there's Picasso, there's Matisse, there's André, there's Gauguin, there's Derain, there's Cézanne, I'm exhausted just reading this. Like, I am so glad I never pursued art history because I would have been lost. Lost, I say. So that's what I'm reading. I also have My Body by Emily Ratajkowski. Emrata, okay? Why are we complicating things for myself? So, I've always wanted to read this one. Always. I listen to her podcast. Sure, you want to judge me? Go ahead and judge me. But I think that she's actually very smart, very funny. And I think at some point, like, you cannot be that performative and put so much work into something, you know? Like, I mean, yeah, you can, but like, I'm saying, like, she does know her stuff, and I don't think we should discredit her just because she's a model, right? And that's the whole point about women, right? We can be more than one things. So I want to read this because, like I said, with the Madison Beer and this one, I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jeanette McCurdy, I do want to do a vlog with my thoughts and seeing if there's any similarities between the three. And I got the audiobook loan finally for this one. I've been waiting for 3 months. So I better read it because if I lose that loan, I'm fucked. So, and the last 3 audiobook loans that I have this week, we have The Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires by Grady Hendrix. I've only heard great things about this book, and it seems so cool, and I love vampires, and I feel like it's just going to be a perfect bop to read. Honestly, I've never read anything by Grady Hendrix, but I've only heard great things about his writing, and I have like most of his books because I truly believe in the reviews that have been coming out from my favorite booktubers like Riley Marie and stuff like that. So definitely gonna read this one. I can't wait. I'm going to film it. And then I also have these 2 Emily Henry books that I got the audiobooks for. So I have People We Meet on Vacation and Book Lovers. I read Beach Read last year. I liked it. I wasn't a fan of it, but I think these 2 might change my mind. I hope that I'm gonna enjoy these 2. I don't have Happy Place because why buy the hardcover when you can wait for the soft cover that matches your other soft covers. So I'm gonna read that one maybe next year or something. But yeah, I am really excited to read these 2 books and get all the summer vibes, summer fun, summer love, summer aesthetic in my life while I'm writing French Riviera book. So we made it. That was it. Those were all the books. I think I listed like 30 something books. Is that gonna happen? We can hope. We can try. We can aim for the stars among the sky. But I don't know. If it happens, I'm gonna be like this guy. If it doesn't happen, I'm gonna be like this guy. So wish me luck. I will make check-ins, I will make videos, I do my weekly videos, and then I do writing videos and reading vlogs and all the vlogs, all the time, all the updates, all the time. I have TikTok, I have Instagram, I have multiple TikToks and Instagram actually, so if you want to keep in touch with my daily life, if you want to talk to me, those are where you can find me as well. I love you guys so much. Let me know what you're reading this summer. Let me know if you read any of these books. Let me know if you found new books to read, actually. That'd be fun. And if you recommend me any books that has that like South of France aesthetic, romance, grief, artist life, writer's life, I'm always up for recommendations, and I take your guys' recommendations very seriously. I have to stop drinking coffee before filming these videos because my brain, too quick. My mouth, not quick enough. I need a sad one. I'm not just happy or angry. I'm actually very much a sad person a lot of the times too. Bye! I hope that you are writing, I hope that you are reading, I hope that you're living the life of your dreams, and I hope that you're having a great summer. Bye!